Two Armenian Men coming at you, episode number 111. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Feeling good, feeling tired, ready to get this going. I need to sleep soon.
What was up with that? Why'd you wake up at 5 a.m. today?
No, so I'm getting up at 4 now. I'm at the gym at 5.
You're at the gym at 5. Can you explain to me a little bit about... I know I look extra creepy today because I clean shaved and I just got a haircut. It was like a really, really thick mustache in HD. So anyway, I'm trying not to smile like this.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy looking at you, but...
Okay.
It's like your dad so much right now. Oh my God, it's so weird.
He had longer hair at my age. Anyway, it's not important. So, curious to know what happened exactly. Could you explain your morning routine to me? I'm kind of curious, kind of interested to hear how this morning went for you.
Well, we haven't actually talked about this, but I don't know. Should we talk about this right now or at another time? Because it's pretty in depth and it's pretty deep. It's about meditation and stuff like that. So,
ooh. Well, the topic of tonight's podcast is we were going to get into finances as a married couple. Shant was going to give me a little bit of a rundown as far as how this shit works with a marriage. I know I probably sound like very, very smooth right now, talking directly into the microphone, sexing the microphone, as you will, but this is what I plan on doing for the rest of this podcast. I'm not feeling too well either, so I'm just trying to keep a low voice. It was cold this last couple of days, so I don't know why I just don't feel too well, but I'm okay. My mood is good. I'm not really like I want to die. Nothing like that. It's just I feel like I'm just congested. Anyway, that's not important. Can you tell me how your morning went a little bit? You don't have to get into depth, in too deep.
Okay, we'll save that for another episode. But yeah, got up 4 a.m., meditated, got ready, went to the gym. The reason why I have to do all this early, besides the topic we'll talk about one day, Zila, our daughter, there's a small window where she gets up at 6 a.m., 6:15, 6:30. So I got to do all this shit before she gets up, man. So I got to squeeze it all in. That's why I'm getting up early.
What about Leo? What time does Leo wake up? Still at 6 with her?
No, he gets up at 7:30.
What's his wake-up procedure like? Does he get up and just start making some noises and start breaking some shit? Or does he usually just slowly come into this world?
He usually wakes up singing.
He couldn't get any cuter. Singing what? I know it quickly went from Zila to...
Yeah, Baby Beluga, Baby Shark. And most kids, they get up, they're tired. He's up, I hear Baby Shark, and he's screaming it. Just
love that little shit so much, man.
Yeah, and so
Baby
for her,
Shark's still going, huh? Billions and millions of views later, just
billions. It's the highest viewed YouTube video.
That's so fucked up, man. That is so fucked up.
It's insane. It's going to keep going. It's never going to stop. But
I wonder how much money they made off of that.
I'm sure you're doing the math. But hey, some exciting things. So last week, if you guys are listening to this first time ever, whatever it is, go to last week's episode 110. We had a special guest, and I thought it was an amazing podcast. It felt like it should have been 3 hours long. So you guys should definitely
back on Alicia Nasser, episode number 110. It was a good episode. Yeah, why did you like it so much?
Just talked about men's health, relationships, parenting, pretty much every topic you really need to talk about besides health, right? That's it. We've talked about this a couple of times. You love talking about this. So tell me a little about your stance on prenups. Let me ask you, in a regular situation, you make $1 million a year working your corporate job. Ani Catering is a franchise now, and you're just a CEO. You're it's a legitimate business. which I'm not saying you're not legitimate. I just mean you're working the CEO end of it. You're just a CEO. Prenup?
Well, yeah. But the thing is that if the girl was with me from the very, very start, she would also, I think, be entitled to a decent amount of money.
Okay.
Because she put up with a lot of the other bullshit that I probably put her through. So it's not like I'm going to leave her with nothing. But the thing is that there's so many different little implications when it comes to like my family. Like, how is my family going to feel about her if there's no prenup in place? And how are they going to, think about our relationship? I think that depending on what the situation is, what she has, what she comes from, etc., I think that she'll understand how family plays into prenup, especially with small business. But I wouldn't just get a prenup just to get a prenup as just a random dude. I don't think.
So my thoughts were always like, I was against prenups technically, and because I was just like, because you're planning for a divorce, right? And you're kind of like saying, hey, like the whole point of getting married is like you're in this forever, but you're like, hey, by the way, if it doesn't work out, like sign here, right? So I just
You think so? You think that getting a prenup is pretty much just signing up for or getting prepared for a divorce? Is that how you look at a prenup?
prepared, maybe not prepared, but you're talking about something that's forever, right? Your intention is to get married forever. So why are you doing something that creating a document that if you don't stay married forever, it's going to, so, but, actually Betty was on the side of prenups are okay, right? Depending on the situation, of course, right?
Why was she okay and you weren't?
I don't know. Maybe she has some money that I don't know about.
She has some cash that she doesn't.
She's planning on hitting the lotto or something. Hey, just sign this real quick, John. But no, and I was talking about because we were watching a show. I forgot what show it was. It was about a billionaire and he had kids. I think Succession or something. And they were talking about prenups and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, like I want Leo's, depending on how far he goes and if he's in that level, it's like I want Leo to have a prenup with his wife or his fiance.
Well, if she wants Leo to have a prenup and you don't want to have a prenup with her, what do you want Leo to have?
But the more I thought about it, and she explained it, we talked deeper. I'm on board, right? It's just smart to protect your stuff with whatever you have. If it's something substantial, right? If it's just like you just have a house, like no, like it is what it is at that point. You figure it out, right? I'm talking business. There's other people involved, like a family bit. Like there's just so many moving parts that, yeah, if there's partners and stuff like that, you have to get a prenup. But if you just have like one house that you bought before you got married, like you just suck that up, man. Like it is what it is.
Here's the deal: if we do end up getting a little bit bigger in terms of my financial liability with our business, prenup would have to be a thing for me because it's not just our relationship and what I'm going to end up taking home, but it's all the other stuff that my mom and my brother would sort of be relying on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to jeopardize their financial security or whatever, but not so much just jeopardize, but how confident they feel about their financial security and how they look at our potential marriages. But coinciding with this whole thing, talking about spending money and whatnot, what about...
Yeah, let's get into the finance stuff. Like, is that where you're going?
Yeah. I was going to ask you about accounts. Do you guys spend from like the same debit card, same checking account, or how do you guys actually separate things? Or you guys just one account?
So this one will probably our whole how we handle money and decisions, financial decisions, is probably gonna like, oh, you're a fucking loser. You just get a lot of that, right, from the probably Armenian community. So you have to see it. Yeah, let me explain, right? So I'll give you my answer, but I want to explain. So finance, 50% of all marriages end in divorce, right? And the number one thing is usually, right, is finances is the reason why people get divorced. I don't know the exact number, but that's a large number. So this is really an important topic to talk about, and something to talk about before you get married is key. Number one, how do you want to handle finances? That has to be discussed. I legit know people who never discussed it, and they get married and they're, like, discuss this shit. Me and Betty, we put everything on in one account, and an account we're on. All our money goes into together joint account, everything. We all have access to all the accounts for the most part.
What happened?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you were waiting for me to. So you guys have. I'm sorry. Can you say that again? Because I was getting.
We have everything goes to, like, we're on every account together for the most part. The only reasons we're not are some that we're just too lazy to, like. We have to go to the bank and fix it. It was some error issue.
So when you say all accounts together, what do you mean by all? How many accounts do you guys have? Like all credit cards, everything?
Like, yeah, credit cards, like Chase Savings, emergency, investing accounts, checking accounts, everything.
Okay, no. I don't think that's something to be made fun of. I'm sort of curious if there's like an accurate labeling system. Like,
we have everything labeled, but there's no like Shant's, Betty's.
That's what I mean. Like,
no.
When you swipe, does it say like card 1, card 2, or
the only one is the Amex one because she has hers, I have mine, but it's all together.
Do you guys ever lose track? Like, who's the one spending like an asshole this month?
We do.
I can't remember.
We do a budget, and we see that stuff, but it's never like, yeah. So I think the deeper questions you have coming are really gonna get to the bottom of why and what the hell. Because,
well, yeah, I was gonna say before I get into debts, which I have a decent amount of experience in. What sort of flexibility do you guys give each other? What sort of like tiptoeing does one need to do when you're married, or within your guys' relationship? I can imagine having a bit of money is buying you a little bit of flexibility in terms of spending. Like, you can go out and buy yourself a $150 pair of sneakers without it making like a huge commotion. Yeah.
So it was funny. One day we were at my friend's birthday dinner, and we were talking about money and stuff. It came up, and me and this other couple, they have the same system we do, and all the single people were like, "You guys are crazy, blah blah blah." Like, you got to have a little bit of my money, and we're like, "Yeah, that's why you guys are all single." And we both, it seems like they have a really happy marriage too. Like anything major is a discussion, right? Anything. I mean, if I want to go buy pay $150, so like, yeah, okay, I bought Jordans, right? They were like $200, $250. I just mentioned that, hey, like, I'm buying these Jordans. They're a little stupid pricing, right? Like, it's.
Were you looking for an approval, or you just wanted to
just like a heads up, like, like, she's like, how much? I'm like, it's a jackass amount. Don't even, like, it's embarrassing that I'm paying this much for Jordans.
Do you think any other girl would have, like, gotten a little bit of, like, oh, I'm going to buy one too? Like,
maybe, yeah, probably. So this is where it comes down to, man, because you're probably asking if we have to tell each other and stuff like that because where's the guardrails, right?
Yeah, like what is too sensitive? Like what is like, yo, like you're crossing the fucking line with this swipe. Tell me a little bit.
There never is like that conversation of like, hey, what the hell? You know, like what do you? Because we're both adults. They're not. We're not. She's not my teenage daughter, right? Where it's like, what the fuck are you doing, right? It's. We're both adults. We both trust each other. If one of us just has a bad moment, it is what it is. I'll just be like, hey, Betty, like Amazon. She'll be like, yeah, I know. I'm just like, all right, cool, it's done. Or she'll be like, hey, eating out, I'm like DoorDash, huh? And I'm like, all right, gotcha. Like, you know, it's an easy conversation, but it comes down to we both from the beginning have had really strong financial values together, and we'll talk about debt, how we handled that when we got married. But it really came down to we both have the same vision and goal on money. So no one really, if someone veers off a little bit, it's not like we're doing anything crazy. So because we have the same vision for money and the same goals, so there is no. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
As in, you guys are looking at your purchases in the same light, and you're like thinking to yourself, maybe like, "Oh, this is going to disappoint the other person because it's not working towards that shared goal." Is that what you're saying?
It's not even disappoint the other person. It's just I don't want to. I want, we have a goal. I'm the one that wants to spend a little bit more, as far as like for her, like, hey, go buy that nice, like bag or stuff. She's like, it's too much, and I'm just like, so. And sometimes she says it for me because she's like, you never
typically put up less of a fight when somebody's buying something, or does she put up less of a fight? Like, is she the one that's saying, yeah, don't worry about it, go? Or are you the one saying, yeah, don't go? I feel like you're the one that's nitpicking the expenses more than she is.
No, she's more nitpicking. I'm more.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm more of the spender. It's like, anytime we're going somewhere, oh yeah, just upgrade it, and she's like, no, like, what are you talking? Like, you gotta save a little, or, it's going to be too much. Like, exit rows, my shit, right? Hey, just get the exit row. She's like, oh, it's going to be 140. It's a short flight. I'm like, just get it. Just trust me. Just click the button. Just do it. So she's always the one trying to like hold us back.
You're the big spender.
Not the big spender, but I'll just frivolous. I haven't bought any clothes in like 2 years, I think, but other shit, like a shirt or stuff like that, I haven't.
All right, so now I'm just a little bit confused because it seems like you guys have the same goals. And it's like you set these goals, but you're the one that's sort of like, all right, let me back off a little bit, and I'm going to spend today. I'm going to buy some Jordans. I'm going to buy that fucking exit row. Like, which one is it, Shant?
No, but it's not all the time. I'm saying because you asked which one is a little bit more, and it's me, right? And you have to understand, like, especially right now, I make. Is that some audio stuff going on?
My heat just turned on because it's fucking freezing in Boston, so I just had to turn it off real quick.
It was only 90 degrees today. Here. Right now I make all the money. Like,
wait a second, Shant. How is that important? What do you mean? Why would this matter?
Well, in a marriage where you don't communicate and you have separate accounts and you're worried about like fucking, I see this all the time, like, what do you call it? What do you call it when you give someone allowance, right? Like, oh, I give my wife an allowance, like that bullshit. So to those people, they're probably going crazy right now because I make all the income, right? All of it. And we still act the same way. Nothing has changed because she was working before, contributing. At one point, she was making more than I was. But to this day, nothing has changed of how we approach money.
So, can you tell me what your honest feelings are about that? Do you look at your job and the income that you're providing as being equal to her job of taking care of the house and her deserving half of your money? Or do you look at it as just like, no, my job is to just fuel the account regardless of what she's doing? Be honest here.
Yeah.
He's not going to listen to this. Just
Yes, it's not.
let's be real here.
Yeah.
Is your job of just fueling the account independent of how Betty's like? She could be leaving Leo to fucking shit himself for a week straight, and you're just like, all right, still, she's. I gotta
So
make sure
it's
that
an honest answer, right? Pure honesty. Okay.
Yeah. How do you look at your money and?
Yeah. So I make all the money, right? The day I decided to marry Betty was the day where I was like, okay, everything is ours. There is no like everything is ours. We're a team now.
You're making less money than her.
At the time, yes.
Yeah, so that was very easy for you to say.
Very easy.
Yeah,
No,
ours, babe. Everything you make belongs to me, and nothing that I am making currently, which is enough.
So it's like there's a pool of money, like an account, right? And our job is to fill the pool of money, and then we do whatever we want with it. Together, we have the same thing. So to me, it's like, and I'd explain that, right? But to me, it's like it doesn't matter how the money came there; it's ours. Which may sound weird to some people, but that is truly how I see it. I've never once thought, like, she does stay home, so she earns 50%. No, it's like it's ours. My job as a husband is to take care of that pool, whether it's all mine.
There's a lot more leeway, though, as the earner. Even though everything you guys have is yours, can she get away with buying some unnecessary shit easily? Or is it you that's getting it away?
No, it doesn't matter. There is no... See, you're still thinking, like, because I make it, it's like I have to have a little 51% control. There isn't. There literally isn't. And the day people will have the happiest marriage is the day they let that go. And it's just like, well, who gets more leeway? There is none of that. It's have a goal, have a path, fucking stick to it. If you veer off, have a human conversation, adult conversation of like, well, hey, get back on track. Doesn't matter who's making the money. It'd probably be weird if I made no money and she made all of it. I'd probably feel...
Why would you say that?
Just as a man...
When does that ever happen in a marriage? I don't understand. So, everything that you just said up until now was like, yeah, teamwork, yeah, my money, your money. But as soon as you switch the roles, what just took place? Why do you think that, Shant? Let's be real here. Let's be honest.
I would feel weird in the sense of I feel like a man should provide some money.
So most of those marriages end in divorce, just FYI.
What? That the woman has more money?
Yeah.
Because the guy couldn't let go of his ego.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just that.
Maybe the girl didn't see... Yeah, maybe the woman didn't see him because saw him in a different way. But yeah, so do you get the premise of how we are? Does it not make sense to you?
No, how you guys are makes sense. It makes sense to me. It's just understanding exactly where there is a discomfort. It's still not very, very clear. Like when you go out and you whip out your credit card or you whip out your debit card or whatever, you're about to buy something. It's almost like, how much do you need to be thinking about, could this get me in trouble?
There's no trouble.
When you used to have like your dad's debit card. I don't know if your dad ever trusted you with his debit card. My dad gave me his one time, and like, God forbid I fill up $23 in gas as opposed to $20. And I told you 20.
No, there's never that like fear of like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get mad. It's just I respect our money, and I don't want to do anything stupid. Just like if I saw like, let's say I was coaching you in finances, right? You're like, Sean, I want you to coach me, right? For whatever reason. And I was like, all right, man, you got to stay within these lines. If you spend more than this, like you're really fucking yourself up on a single item, a want over a need. And at that point, if you did do something over that amount, I'd be like, dude, like that's stupid. Like next time be better. So it's literally, there is no, bro, in 14 years of knowing her, we have never once argued about money. Not one argument.
That's amazing. So just a quick question. And I'm interested to hear what your initial response is on this. So do you not see a benefit in having separate accounts, not so much just for having my money and your money, not so much that, but just tracking exactly how much is being spent on what by each person, making it a little bit easier? Or do you think that even then, in that case, it doesn't fucking matter?
No, that would make sense, because if someone's overspending, not because of, maybe just because of irresponsible, not just because there's holes in their thing, right? It's good to like see that for tracking purposes. Just when Betty does it, so I would think that's a good idea for separate accounts, just for that reason, 100%.
So why don't you guys have one?
I'm sure. I think the cards that we have, like she has the last four that are maybe different. I don't know. No, actually, because when she tracks it, when she does her tracking stuff, she's just able to tell like DoorDash, that's Shant. Like it's for her. It's simple. She's like, all right, I didn't buy this. It's Shant.
And how is she actually? So next question I have is, how is she letting you know that there's a problem in the spending? Or is that just a sensitive conversation that you guys try to avoid having? Like, you guys don't make the mistake in the first place.
No, it's like DoorDash. The DoorDash was a pretty big one. I didn't, when you're just in the moment, you're not noticing DoorDashing every day at lunch. It was literally one day she texted me. She's like, "Get your ass in the car and drive to a store to eat. Stop DoorDashing."
What was your reaction like? You like, I don't have fucking thought. Like, how did you react to that?
I just said, "LOL."
Did you actually start picking up food?
No, I just said I got to start cooking, like taking food to work.
I don't know why, but I feel like I would get so much more upset. like, don't tell me what I can and can't do with my money.
But it's not your money.
I mean, I am making. If I'm making the money, if I'm in your situation, I'm letting you know right now that is my money.
Yeah, but that's literally why marriages fail, I believe. Because if you're like that with...
She can't spend my money. It's just I don't want her telling me how to spend the money that I made. Does that make sense?
Yeah, logically. But it's literally, that's how you are in one thing, that's how you're going to be in a lot of things. And that, to me, we probably need Alicia on this, because she'll probably rip you up on this behaviorally.
Are you sure? Because I think I did pretty well last week.
No, you did hold yourself up. You did hold yourself up pretty good. You did. But I think she would like this topic a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
But
I'm sure a lot of women would, but like, what I'm trying to tell you is, like, I get what you're saying. I completely respect what you're saying. Believe it or not, I actually do. I respect it a lot that you could just completely just let go of your possessiveness towards your own money. But I just don't like the idea of somebody telling me that what I can and can't do with the money that I...
Okay, so let me ask you this. It's her kid, right? She thinged it. It's in her body. Grew it. Came out. She's taking care of it. She could say what she could do with the baby, right? Like, I'm going to raise the kid how I want to raise it. I have 90% of all the energy, and you have 10%. right?
Mm-hmm.
You see how arguments start?
Yeah, arguments, that's 100%. You're right. If she's coming... Let's take a 10-second intermission while I really juggle this one in my head. So you're saying that me saying that this is my money.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody else telling me how I should be.
And spend. It's just don't tell you how to spend your money. It's literally the
It's
same.
like her saying, "This is the kid that I birthed." So don't tell me how to make the final call and how to raise him.
I'm here every day. I'm the one taking care of him. I'm doing all this.
That's a fucking point, man.
I just came up with that too. Just came up with that.
Did a great job on that one. What do I feel?
I'd love to hear the counter argument. If someone has a counter, I'm seriously open. I'm not going to change how we do things. It's working out pretty well for us. But I would love to hear the counter argument to that.
I feel like if I'm providing the cash to help with the cost of raising the kid, I feel like if I'm also not letting her have a say in the cash, then she should also not let me have a say in raising the kid. But I guess I can see your point in terms of giving up control over one thing. I don't know if it would necessarily imply control over another, but I could definitely see why someone would be more open-minded as to let you have more control over.
Let me ask you, Betty's car, right? Technically, I pay for it. Can I say, like, hey, don't tell me, I'm going to take your car, I'm going to go drive it, don't tell me what to do? It's my car.
No, because that's a very, very snotty thing to do anyway.
Yeah, it would be.
Dude, I drive this thing every day. Please don't move shit around. Like, it's just annoying. Like, all right, if you're going to do it, at least fucking put it back. I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, that's not...
It just, it leads to other things that...
Mine and yours. It's always like...
Now you're not a team. Now you're just... Like, how we raise our kids, right? How we make decisions, right? Big decisions, moving, like across the country, buying a property, even when it comes down to business, right? Like investment stuff, we both have to agree on it. We both have to be, but she kind of lets me ride with it. 'Cause she's like, hey, you're in it more. You kind of, you're in that. Like, if you feel it's good, go with it. I still have to I still want her to be on board. So I show her like, hey, like, what do you think? These are the numbers, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to what else is a big thing?
Well, wait a second. What happened to setting boundaries and showing your kids that you're trying to set boundaries? Like, this is yours. This belongs to Leo. This belongs to Zilla. Same thing should go with this belongs to mom. This belongs to dad. I understand there's teamwork, but we all don't wear the same jersey. Is what I'm saying. Like, we all...
I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's because people think that we may put up a facade of we're not happy, but we are. And I feel this is attributed to it, where we don't look at her clothes are her clothes. I'm not fucking wearing her clothes or her makeup. But when it comes to decisions, it's our decision. What happens with our kid, where we move, what's going on, business stuff. Like, if I'm going to spend $2,000 a month on something, I'm going to talk to her. That'd be selfish of me to just say, hey, these $2,000 a month, what's going on? Oh yeah, I bought a system where I'm getting leads. It's like, okay.
What if she doesn't see the value in that? Like, then what if she can't see eye to eye with what you value?
Well, I'm going to ask her, and we're going to talk about it. If she doesn't value it, I want to know why, because maybe I'm missing something at that point, right? Maybe I'm jumping the gun, because the thing is, she was,
What if
Huh?
Betty turns a switch one day and she just becomes a moron?
Well, then that's when I probably, like, a moron in what sense? Like, just,
Like she just won't see the benefit of anything. Like she just becomes a pessimist about everything that you're doing.
well,
You
that's
had
going
a
to be
couple bad months, and
a
all of a sudden,
conversation. Because if I'm like that or she's like that, that's a different, now we're talking like, hey, it's not a good conversation probably.
yeah, bro, it's not. It's not. I can already envision, like, all right, things were going so smooth. You had a couple bad months where it had nothing to do with you. Let's just talk about like a market correction. This is very likely to happen. All of a
Yeah,
sudden, when finances start dipping, even though what's mine is yours, yada, 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 you're looking into ways about how you can increase sales.
yeah.
And she's not seeing the value because times are getting kind of tough.
You know why she wouldn't see the value? I'll tell you this. But why she did see the value, because this exactly happened. Whatever you're saying, and I spent, whatever, a month, and it's tight. Da, da, da. She said, I don't know if it's a good idea, like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I believe it'll get us more return on the investment. And since I've proven myself time and time again that when I say something, it tends to work out. Not all the times, more often than not. She's like, all right, I trust you. So if your spouse doesn't see it, it just means they probably don't trust that you could do it. My opinion.
So you're saying that trust is the actual the actual component of this whole financial thing that makes it all sort of work. So if there's no trust,
Yeah.
Financial concerns will always be an issue because somebody is not trusting the other with the money.
Yeah, like today, if she comes to me and says, hey, let's move to Florida. I want to move to Florida. I trust her that she still has the same vision and goal. So I'm going to be like, okay, like, talk to me about that. Like, what's that? Like, where do you see that getting us, right? Instead of like, no, what are you talking about? I have my business here. What are you doing? No way. The kids, blah, blah, blah.
Immediately put a lot of weight into what she's saying because you have faith in,
Yeah.
she's thought about this for a little while.
Yes.
Wow. Shant, man, the idea behind trust and finances mixing together, creating a perfect cocktail, was something that I didn't actually think about before. I thought finances were very, very independent of trust. I thought finances were like a very hardwired thing where like somebody is just generally cheap
No.
and somebody's a little bit more frivolous.
Go get a fucking Christian Dior bag, right? Out of nowhere, just like it's a Tuesday.
How would you react if she showed up with a brand new Christian Dior bag without telling you anything?
Right now, like today, I'd probably laugh and I'd be like, "You watching too much Kardashian? Like, what's going on?"
Is that actually how you would respond?
100%. And she'd probably be like, "I know it's stupid, but I wanted it because I know she doesn't do that kind of stuff for herself."
Like $3,000 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because she doesn't do that. So I'd laugh at it and I'd be like, all right, like you did it.
Confused as to like what the fuck happened to my weight?
Like what is going on? But not in like a negative way though. That's where you're missing. I'd be a little like, what happened? Like, are you okay? Like going through a midlife crisis? Like what's going on?
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of curious about.
Yeah, but not angrily, right? Not in a defensive manner.
I would genuinely be impressed if my wife, without saying anything, had the balls to go and buy herself a $3,000 purse without saying anything. But you wouldn't want to take some sort of like I wouldn't say like a revenge purchase, but just like yeah, you did it, so I did it type of thing. That wouldn't make you want to sort of test out your capability? No, or do you just trust that you would be able to do it and get the same response?
Yeah. And that's what it is, man. It's that trust that that person's in the same game and she has to trust you for the one mission, man. We're not perfect. We are not 100% perfect on the mission. We obviously do screw up, but we give each other grace. She was ordering a lot of Amazon. Like every fucking day I saw Amazon. was like, babe, market's tough.
All right, so last question.
Yeah.
That's student loans, major expenses before marriage. Is this actually my responsibility now if I marry you? Or is it like, listen, it's still very much yours. You handle that shit. You take a little bit extra of your own paycheck to clear that out. Or is this now my debt? Is this now my $50,000 or $100,000 in student loans?
I think you know the answer. It's
no.
What I'm
the answer to that.
Yeah, no, what I'm gonna say. It's yours, man. Like that's it. It's in the pot. Throw it in the pot. You got the debt. Throw that shit in the pot. You got some cash.
Pot bullshit. I don't like it. I really don't. Like, oh yeah, you're not eating. Let me just eat double. Because the calories add up.
I think it really started like this. Like we're doing all right now, and like we're happy. We're super grateful for everything we have. But we started with literally fucking nothing. Like I was making $200 a week. Betty had
$200 a week is a great sum. I don't know what you mean by that.
2, 4, 6, $800 a month, bro. What are you talking about?
In Halle or here?
Here.
Here. Yeah, it's not too good. That's not something I would actually want to live with.
Yeah, and so like we did all this together. So that's why now it's all together. I think that's what it was. Why I have this mindset now that we're talking about it, and you're so shocked. You're like, what the hell is going on? Because we literally started with zero negative together, living with my parents for a full year. And we just got out of debt first, right? Together, her debt. And then we saved together. And then for a moment, she was making more than me. And then for a moment, she didn't work and I had to cover her. And then she went back to work and making more than me. And everything we've built together. So now it feels like we were on this journey together where it's like, dude, like all this shit's ours.
So what is a common disagreement between you guys when it comes to finances? I know I said last question about 3 minutes.
Not finance, it's mostly chores like we discussed last week. That's a major argument. But finances, we don't really... Like, I wanted to move. She didn't want to.
Where'd you want to move?
It's a different neighborhood. And
recently, or
yeah, like last year, and she's like, "No, like we're not moving again." And I was
why the fuck do you want to move?
I don't know, and then like where we wanted to move up. It was never an argument, but I was like, I want to move a little further out. She's like, "No, I don't want to," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's just smarter." And then I was just like, whatever. I got over it because I think it's shit that comes to my head. And I'm like, oh, let's do it. We're moving. Like, let's go.
Are you impulsive?
Yeah.
Are you an impulsive buyer also?
Yeah, I can be, but I've gotten better where I'm just like, all right, if I still want it in the next few days,
Oh, is that your way of doing things? You don't buy it today, you give it a day or two?
I've been better, but yeah, I have something, an idea in my mind. I want to go after it. So, but yeah, we really, for as far as finances, it's hard to have this like arguments, disagreements when you're a true team. So my advice to everyone, and I guess it's difficult because I'm not in the position where, let's say I'm making none of us here on this podcast are making $1 million a year. I could assume that you're not.
Syrian?
Dirhams.
Can't tell if you're talking. Lately, the conversation has been.
Yeah. Now, if you're making $1 million and you just get engaged, she's not working, you get married, I don't know how I would feel. And I probably would not feel the same, to be honest. I don't know. But I think the reason
mine is yours. Mine is yours, Shant. You said it. It's a team.
But the reason... Yeah, but the fact that we came up together like this, I think is why we are like this. And it's helped us so much, bro. You have no idea how much that mindset and the way we came up together has made finances a non-issue in our marriage. It's literally the least of all the things.
I guess that's good to know coming from somebody that's in your sort of relationship. I think I might need to have like a real shitbag on the next podcast discussion about finances and
Get you
marriage.
back on that side.
Somebody to just really even out the conversation, hear both sides of the perspective. Like somebody who's just a chronic cheater and has zero expectation of his wife. I need to get their take on this whole thing, just to get a really, really just complete idea of what I should be going for. I don't want a prenup. I don't want to get into a prenup sort of marriage, but I completely understand why somebody making $1 million a year would get one. Yeah. But then again, I don't because you're saying if you're trying to get a prenup, you're already planning ahead for the divorce. I
switched on that. I did switch on that, especially with you. You have family business. It's irresponsible if you didn't have a prenup. Actually,
well, for that component of the prenup, I think that it's very, very good idea for me to have is just protecting the financial security, the mental security of my family when it comes to that stuff. But anyway, that's not important. What is important is that you and Betty have found that comfort in your relationship when regarding finances, and that apparently this is something that not a lot of people achieve. So good for you guys. However, I still would like to hear some just complete shitbags.
DM us.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if your marriage is just questionable. How you would handle your finances, or how you handle finances with your wife.
Just only you.
Yeah. Please, just shitbags only. I'm good. Do you have like a secret account that you don't have? Nobody knows about except for you. You use your mom's like social security number to buy shit. How do you handle it? Anyway, I'm gonna try and go to sleep because I'm not feeling too well. And this, I'm trying to avoid coughing for this whole podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Let out a quick yawn. All right. Well, good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.